each side. So for today's workout, I started off with just 15 minutes on the treadmill, and I was doing all backwards. At least for right now, like today I want to hit my abs really hard. So what I'm going to do is try to come up with exercises that have a core element to it, like a big core element, and then yeah, so that's what's going to be the um, first, I guess, part of the workout. I don't know, I think that's going to be the general theme where all exercises or supersets today are going to have like a big core component. So for the first exercise, that looks like, so I'm doing a suitcase deadlift with the kettlebell. The floor is, I guess, smooth, so I can move my feet on it with napkins. So, so here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna kick back, come back up, suitcase deadlift. Going for 5 each side. The kicking out and coming back in will target the lower abs and the hip flexors, and then the suitcase will target the sides along with a little bit of legs. With some supersetting that with the 25-pound kettlebells, and with the 25 pounds I'm doing row, deadlift, row, deadlift. So after 4 you're done with 1, so after do 5 total. So what I mean by that is row, deadlift, row, deadlift, that's 1. Deadlift, row, deadlift, last one. But yeah, so that's the first superset of today's workout. A lot of core focus, a lot of posterior chain focus. So for the second superset, using the napkins and the 25-pound kettlebell. So here what I'm going to do is combine a few different things. So I'm going to start off as if I was doing a single hand sumo deadlift, or a single hand deadlift, single hand kettlebell deadlift. And then while in this position, I'm going to slide. So if the right hand's holding the kettlebell, the right foot goes back, slides back. I'm holding the kettlebell to kind of stabilize myself, and I'm stretching out my hip flexor. Then I slide it back, and then do a deadlift. Switch hands. Stretch. Come back. Deadlift. So the stretch and drag works the hip flexor. So that it's stretching the hip flexor, and now the drag applies a little bit of resistance into the hip flexor and lower abs. And then the deadlift kind of attacks the glutes and the lower back. So this way I'm able to target a lot of muscles in the hip, lower ab area at once by combining a few different exercises and making them one. Going for 5 each side. After 5 each side, moving into some. So I'm going to do a cannonball shoulder press, but while in the pressed position, I'm going to do a lunge, but not by lifting the feet, but by dragging the feet. Holding the kettlebell overhand forces you to stay stable and activates all the core muscles responsible for that. Going into the lunge further exaggerates the instability and the activation of the core that needs to take place in order to maintain balance and manage the offset of load on the body. Going for 3 and then switching sides. Use load that's appropriate, that you can maintain balance on and can press comfortably. When you're throwing in all these added elements, is not the best time to be trying to push weight. Although in time you progressively want to get stronger at it and whatnot, but don't try to do this with super heavy weight. But yeah, that's the superset I'm doing for now. Really working on a lot of muscles in the hips, lower ab area. I'm gonna do this for a bit longer. I'll probably do a couple more kettlebell movements, and then I want to do some landmine. For the next exercise, sticking with the same setup. So the past couple of movements did a lot of I guess hip flexor stretching, a lot of lower abs and stuff. But I didn't necessarily hit the groin and loosen out, I guess, the sides and the groin. So it is my belief that for a good core, if you have a lot of tightness in the hip area, it's not optimal. And so I almost consider this a little bit of core. And then also, you'll see there's a lot of offset and like unilateral stuff going on. So anytime there's unilateral stuff going on, there's a lot of core compensation work being done in order to perform the movement. Anyway, so again, combining a lot of different movements into one to attack the things that I've been mentioning. So here, starting off in like sumo stance, I'm going to kick one leg out and use the kettlebell as a thing to balance. Really feeling the stretch in the groin. Dragging that back in. Deadlift. Switch. Feel the stretch. Slide it back. Deadlift. Two, two. So going for 5 each side. Ah, should really feel a good stretch in the hips and your hips and glutes. It should feel like loose and pumped after. So after doing 5 each side of that, moving into some, I guess, legs, core, and shoulder stability and mobility. So what that looks like is I'm going to hold the kettlebell in cannonball grip and hold it overhead and squat. Here the shoulder has to work to stabilize, plus it's in cannonball grip, so it's extra unstable. So I'm using a lightweight. There is also an offset as far as there's only one weight on one side, so there's all the core muscles are working in order to stabilize and keep things, in line for when you squat. Going for 5 each side of that as well. So with this, now I've attacked my groin with the previous 2 movements, got a lot of posterior chain and lower back and the sides and the lower abs. I want to do, so after I get done with this, let's talk about the next thing that I come up with. So for the last of the kettlebell and napkin movements, doing a Jefferson curl off of an pretty elevated surface. Again, if this is your first time doing this, you probably are not going to be going this deep, but I'll show you what it looks like. So I'm keeping my legs as straight as possible. I don't mind if my spine curves, but the legs need to stay straight. I'm going to bend down and try to grab it with as little knee bend, but there's going to be a slight one, but don't worry just yet. It's going to go. I'm going to pick it up, step just a little bit more towards the edge, and then so tightening the glute straight, and then slowly one vertebrae at a time, pushing your butt back. So now the kettlebell's in contact with the floor. come back up. Whew. So, gonna do at least 5, max 8 on these. Really hitting the hip flexors and the glutes. Or not the hip flexors, the hamstrings. The hamstrings and the glutes. Oh, that's amazing. Once you get to this level, like, or I don't know, whatever level you start at, the stretch that you're gonna feel in your hips, lower lats, glutes, and hamstrings is next level. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. I think I got one more in me. Oh. Oh. After doing, I guess, whatever, 5 to 8 of that, then having napkins ready, and then going to get on the floor, stay in plank position, and straight up, sideways, straight up, sideways, hitting the lower abs and the oblique, lower abs, obliques, lower abs, hip flexor, obliques, lower abs, hip flexor, obliques. That's going to failure. No real rep count. Oh. My abs are already kind of beat up from all the past movements, but just do how much ever you can. And yeah, so I'm gonna do another set or 2 of this. Then I'm gonna get out of here and then do some other ab stuff that I'll record. So as I was saying earlier, I'm moving into some abs exclusive work on the, I call it the Roman chair. I think that is what its name is, but whatever you guys want to call it. Using an 8-pound ball, going low, getting up, throw, catch, throw, catch, throw, catch. You want to throw it in the same angle as you're coming up. So that it's going straight up and you can use your abs to absorb the impact. But yeah, gonna do 2 more sets of that for 4 total. And then we'll move into some twisting based stuff. Skedaddle?
Yeah, tomorrow we'll do an actual good workout. Today was fine. Yeah, it's way too late.
Oh shit, yeah, it's too late.
Freaking Ray, you know who called? I
Alright, I thought I was going to do some landmine stuff, but I've decided that this is going to be the last ab workout. It's getting a little too late, and I want to hit the sauna too. So, for the final ab movement, before I hit the sauna, using a plate, leaning all the way back, getting up, press, twist, back down, press, twist, back down. Whew. Ah. Going for 5.
She's been on this for 5 months, so I'm looking for another 5 months later. Oh, sorry, I missed it.
Supersetting that width.
Alright, let's go. James loves James takes the fan, bro.
Oh, that's
James the fan, he's like watching.
no, it's cool. Later.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, have a good night. Supersetting that with single leg back extensions. Going for 8 each side. But yeah, I'm gonna superset these and then head to the sauna after a set or two.